Man, 2023 is the year of capitalist bullshit in music, huh? Tickets for big name acts like Blink 182, Bruce Springsteen, and Taylor Swift were being legally resold for thousands of dollars. Spotify marked its first year of profits after its third round of layoffs this year. And even Cover Me has ads now. It's bullshit! Truly. Cover Me has entered its villain era, and all it took was roughly $9.50 in ad revenue to do it. We tried to distract from the fact with our brand new shiny cover art, but even our beautiful faces can't hide the facts. We're dirty, nasty, bad little boys. In February, we took Lover Me and Waluigi'd that shit by only talking about dark and weird love songs. Is I'm Not in Love even a love song? You'll never know for sure now. Where the righteous Cover Me of the past zigged, we zagged. Rod Stewart, oft-ridiculed in the past for his lackluster covers, was praised for a song about running away from home and getting your girlfriend pregnant. Disgusting. Even worse, in that very same month, Unmarketable Mayhem, the third of 5 theme months this year, we ruined The Who's Bob O'Reilly by exposing the truth. Pete Townshend's not a fighter, he's a fucking farmer. Cover Me's so goddamn bad, even Spotify is scared of us. Getting banned from the Jolly Green Giant and music streaming couldn't stop us, though. We jumped ship to Tidal at the end of Gemini June, our secret theme month, and made the most ill-advised theme month possible, Blockbuster Summer, right smack dab in the middle of the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. When Alex wasn't busy not being on the podcast at all, he was taking wild stances against people from New Zealand, women, and I'm pretty sure a third group of people. I'm going to say veterinarians? As the year comes to a close, we settle down for a moment to admire a year of Cover Me that will surely go down in history as our wettest well. That's right, it's the Cover Me 2023 year-end episode. That's right, it's Cover Me, the only podcast that can legally perform surgery on itself. I'm your host, as always, the Ouroboros, joined by my new metal co-host.
Oh, Alex Mildenberger! That's new metal, right?
I think you hit the mark. How you doing, you bad bitch? What's going on?
Oh, I'm just feeling bad. I'm feeling super bad, but so good. Because, we're in our villain arc. What will the next one be? You'll never know.
You never
Face
know.
turn? Who cares?
Turn.
It's going to be exciting no matter what happens. That was a fun intro.
Thank you.
And a great recap of a lot of the things that happened this year.
It's always tough to summarize what we did because we do the same shit every year. But managed to find some kind of theme there.
Yeah. I mean, this year also, we talked, obviously I was missing from the podcast a few times, but not even when we were traveling and stuff. That was all planned out. And we did some traveling too,
We did.
Together.
It feels like this year we've recorded more episodes of Cover Me than ever. But I don't think that's true. I think
it can't be, right? It's the same number of weeks.
Yeah. And we are a bit ahead of schedule. We've done that in other years as well.
Right.
So it's not it's just there were so many compressed periods where we're doing double episodes and things. It's been a very busy, chaotic year.
Yeah. We recorded 2 episodes together, I think.
Yeah, in
maybe
the flesh.
3.
We did the Bruce Springsteen concert review when we were
together
in Seattle.
We did the one with Will in
That's
the basement.
Right, 3.
And then we did another one when you came here before. Or no, did we do another
Eye of the
one?
Tiger. Yeah,
Eye of the
we did
Tiger.
Eye of the Tiger in the studio.
In the studio.
In the studio, in the flesh.
So that's pretty exciting.
That's pretty fucking exciting stuff, Alex.
In our movie theme summer while everyone movie affiliated was on strike.
Yeah. I just had that theme locked in from last summer. I was like, we could do that. That'd be a sick theme.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about just the world around. And I like to think, we talked about old movies for one, and two, we did shout out the WGA and SAG-AFTRA on just about every episode.
Yeah.
I tried to mention it. And also, we're not guild affiliated, so technically we're allowed to do that, but it's maybe not the best look.
Yeah. We're maybe not the best allies, but we're not breaking any regulations.
That's right, and we're Canadian, so but it's we are fully in support of the strike. Just to be 100% clear on that. To be 100% clear on the next bit, Alex doesn't actually hate people from New Zealand or women. He does hate vets, though.
Yeah, vets. Yeah, veterans, right? Yeah.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Sick of those fuckers.
Yeah.
Trying to get discounts everywhere.
No, yeah, our podcast has some enemies. Jerry Seinfeld is one of them.
Chief among them.
there was another one.
I think Scott Bradley is technically an enemy.
Scott Bradley, kind of a lower tier villain.
Yeah,
I don't even remember the other ones now.
Jacob McLeod is a friend of us, but an enemy of the podcast.
Of course.
Due to not guessing when he said he would.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's been a whirlwind year, Alex. What do you think? Best year of Cover Me yet, or just another year?
Was it the best year yet? I mean, I feel like we, at least as like presenters, as like, I don't know, radio voices, whatever you would call podcasters, I guess.
Podcasters, I suppose.
I still feel like we're steadily improving, you know? Like I feel stronger as a speaker in this format.
Yeah. I feel like we've really nailed out the structure of Cover Me and like what we want to talk about. There's just still room for us to improve on like how we talk about it. I would say is our thing. Bit of a rough year though. We had about 15 episodes taken down from Spotify.
Right. You got banned entirely for a while. I got
banned entirely in June, like almost at exactly halfway through the year. They're like, get the fuck out of
here. Which has since been rescinded, but
it has, yeah. But they haven't brought those episodes back up.
Oh yeah.
And I've moved on, baby. I'm with Jay-Z now.
Yeah, I just don't think Spotify is a great podcast platform anyway.
No.
Like I don't like to listen to podcasts on Spotify.
Music app either. Yeah. It's more of a social app. They go social first, music second, which I think works for them because we're going to be talking about Spotify Wrapped again this year. Well,
kind of. I mean, the Wrapped obviously, and like integrating with other stuff, but they have like their look at what your friends are listening to sidebar thing, and like that's been broken for me for years. Like I haven't been able to use that properly forever. And like other people can see me and I just can't see them. And like I thought it was really interesting when it worked, and then it just stopped working, and I don't know what the problem is.
I used to sometimes you'd be listening to something, I'm like, oh, I should listen to that.
Yeah, and I think that's a really interesting feature. Although that said, I'm sure there's just not enough desktop listeners for them to care. Like,
yeah, I feel like maybe the desktop app is a little bit forgotten and off to the side.
Yeah, but I mean, there's plenty of issues with the mobile app as well, so.
Yeah, fucking A is there. I've had to log on a couple times just to get like the Wrapped info for this year and some other things. Every time I open it up, first thing it's like, bro, you want to get premium? I'm like, no, I don't want to fucking get premium. I have to go through ads, not even like in the listening, which is all it used to be, but through the app itself to get to what I actually need to see, and it's ridiculous. But Alex, you're a man with your foot dipped in both pools here. You're on the Tidal, you're on the Spotify. You're paying for neither. Not to shame you, just stating a fact. What have you shifted over to Tidal more? How do you balance your listening now? Obviously, you do your Cover Me listening through Tidal because that's where I put the playlists. Yeah,
Cover Me listening through Tidal, so there's a little bit more accuracy in my Wrapped results than I often see. Although I'll have to probably sift through some things as we go through that. I do like Wrapped. I like getting that and shows you. I like seeing all your stats, top 5 and all that, even though mine are a little wonky. Tidal is nice. I mean, I'm not a huge audiophile or anything. What I've been doing a lot is like using Tidal for like albums. I'll download I'll download some albums before I go somewhere and then just throw those on like when I'm driving or whatever.
Right.
But I messed it up one time and I don't know if I played the wrong version of an album. But I used a lot of data streaming Purple Rain on like high quality. like one car ride, and it was like, yeah, your data is mostly used up, bro. Okay. I have more data now. Fortunately.
Gotta get more data.
Yeah. But that was a bit of an issue. But they're pretty similar. Like it's theoretically higher quality on Tidal. I don't know.
Here's the trick.
I don't have the headphones for it really, especially if I'm listening in my car. It's like Bluetooth to car.
Bluetooth
speaker.
Compresses it, and Tidal now tells you that on the app. It says,
I saw that.
We're streaming high quality, but there's like an exclamation mark by it, and you click, and it's like Bluetooth compresses the audio. So if you're not hearing the difference, that's it. And that is sort of the tricky like other half of Tidal. Like obviously, I think superior in terms of the music quality you're getting, but are you using the equipment that gets you the superior music quality?
Yeah.
Hard to say, but even with that,
but I'm doing Cover Me stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like with the streaming in general. What was I gonna fucking say here? It's cheaper. It's cheaper. I got 5 people on my fucking Tidal account for the cost of what it for less than actually what it cost for me and my partner to have Spotify accounts.
Oh,
that's crazy.
I mean, the other issue with that is like, I mean, oftentimes it just means the price is going to go up because they're selling undervaluing it to increase subscriptions, and then they crank it up after people are reliant on it.
True. But
which we've seen a couple times, and obviously, like you said, Spotify just did a bunch of layoffs, so they got to resort to that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, right after their Wrapped release, they fucking fired a bunch of people.
Yeah,
which
1,500 people, which is a lot.
That's huge.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Some of these, I'm curious where streaming's going. I know there's been some talk of like streaming declining, and there's a lot of companies who've got into streaming that are finding that maybe it's not the business they thought it was. And that includes music, more so like video streaming. But I'm curious what the future of that segment of the industry is, because it's so convenient, and it's like, it's great, like to have access to all those songs. Like the access aspect of it is insanely good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like just compared to growing up and being like, I want to listen to this song, I need to like go onto the computer, wait for like 20 minutes for it to boot up, open LimeWire, wait another couple of minutes for that to boot up just because everything's so slow, and like maybe find a couple songs that are the right ones.
Yeah, you gotta find the right label, make sure it's like of a certain quality. It was a whole process. Or you're doing like, you're buying CDs, which is a huge investment, or like records if you want to be even more weird and do the record to MP3 like transcription model. And so costly that way. Or there's I had something else. I lost it. But
like recording off the radio,
or pulling albums from the library.
Yep, which
like you used to do.
Used to do a lot.
It's like getting music was a lot fucking tougher.
Yeah, versus like open the app, search. Oh, there it is. Tap like instantaneously. Even like iTunes was famous for making it easy to buy music, like a la carte, and just like it's so convenient to have the access. It's ridiculous, but I don't know what that will look like going forward, because I mean, right now they can lay off a bunch of people to increase profits or whatever, but they are going to want more, right? They're going to want more subscriptions and more things, and I don't know.
Yeah, and there's so many like different angles to look at the pressure heaping on, because the other is, and musicians rightfully calling out for better residuals for the streaming services.
Right.
Spotify doesn't even pay them a cent per stream.
Yeah, do you even get? It's like there's like a minimum number of streams, and it's also related to the total number of streams of like all songs.
Yeah, that's right. So they've just recently altered it to cut out a lot of lower. So you need to hit a stream threshold of like 10,000 or something. I don't fucking know. I'm not gonna say like definitively what that number is, but you now need to hit a certain point before you're even able to get paid out.
Right.
And I found out this year, I was just like Googling. I'm like, well, I'm on Tidal. I wonder how much they're paying. Tidal pays, and there's apparently like some variance, but on average 3 to 5 times as much per stream as Spotify does.
I know that was a big part of why it was created. I mean, the artists saying like, hey, we want a service where we get paid better, and then also hopefully other people can benefit from that. So I don't know exactly how that's going. Just because I'm always a little suspicious of like the business side of it, and it's like, well, that's what the artist said, but now the business exists, and they're not all necessarily involved, and they have to start making those business decisions that might involve less. But I don't know. I don't know what's happening on that end. So theoretically, it's a lot better.
Yeah, if nothing else, Tidal is putting up a better front of being a caring corporation. Than Spotify.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, exactly. But they also have their Tidal Rising program, where they apparently give funds to new and upcoming artists to help them get out there, and that's more than Spotify claims to do. So
The other thing, I was kind of looking on Spotify to see if there's equivalent. I couldn't find it, but something we've realized in the last like month or so is that it's so easy to get credits for songs on Tidal.
Yeah, on Tidal.
Like it's literally just in the if you right click it kind of thing, or like the meatball menu or whatever, and check the credits.
Yeah, it fucking brings it up,
and they're pretty good.
Yeah, so like I don't mean to be a shill for Tidal because again, it's a corporation. It's probably bad and rotten to the core. Music streaming itself is kind of robbery, and that's also what this podcast lives on.
Built off
would
of,
not exist, without this. So, as always, capitalism sucks. Here we are to celebrate by reading a bunch of bullshit stats that Spotify gave us.
Yeah.
And that's going to move us into our next segment here, which, of course, I'm going to open with our podcast stats. Now, Spotify always likes to tell you irrelevant shit here because naturally none of it is going to be that useful to you, or else it would just be something they charge you for. That said, they opened this Wrapped by telling us what our top episode, as in most listened to out of our whole catalog, was this year.
Not just that was released this year, but like whole thing?
Not just that, but the whole thing.
Okay.
And Alex, can you guess what that is?
Is it still Numb?
No.
Okay.
It's not Numb. It's not Get Lucky, which was our most streamed last year. But it is Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson featuring Bruno Mars.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we had released our Beatles and Rolling Stones episodes earlier, those would be the top streamed because those have been getting just huge amounts of hits for us.
Just because they're like kind of timely?
Yeah, I think so. And just also because it's the Beatles and the Stones.
Yeah, fair enough.
I noted this is something that is available through the Spotify for Podcasters platform. It's not part of this Wrap, but they'll tell you your like age demographic breakdown. And 30% of our audience is apparently ages 45 to 59.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So, so that's who would want to be like, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. Congratulations to all you 45 to 59-year-olds for knowing what a podcast is. Good job, everyone.
I don't have the like gender demographics. I'll bet it's pretty heavily male.
63% male, in fact.
That's actually better than I was expecting.
Honestly, I was
like a lot better than I was expecting.
We got a third female? That's crazy. So, yeah, not bad.
Okay, all right.
But, Alex, it was streamed. Uptown Funk was streamed 999% more than your average episode.
Wow. That's a lot.
Stat so meaningless. That really just means, like, it probably, like, our average episode gets streamed, like, one time.
Right. And this one got a decent number of downloads.
Yeah.
Or streams, whatever.
Now, Alex, of course, we're a big, massive podcast. We got a lot of listeners.
Yeah. Look at all that ad revenue we pulled.
Look at all that ad revenue. We're killing it. Now, what percentage of our listeners in 2023 do you think were new to the podcast?
Oh. Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to remember what it was previously, and I don't remember.
I wonder, did they give us a percentage of new listeners? Let me see. I wrote down all our stats here so I can take a look. I can tell you our followers were up 96% last year, but I don't think it gave us the number of new listeners.
Number of new listeners? Okay. I'm going to say... This is a percentage, though. I'm going to say like fairly close to half, maybe like 45%.
No, Alex, 84% of our listeners discovered us in 2023.
Oh, okay.
So what I can account for with this is I imagine they count both starts and streams as listeners.
Okay.
And the vast majority of our listeners, so our top impression source in the last 30 days is the Spotify search bar. So people look up fucking, Uptown Funk and they see our dumb faces and they go, hey, what the hell is this? They maybe even think it's an album because now our shout out to Will Gill who made our cover artwork. Now looks so professional and like an actual album because it's based on an actual album that people maybe think we're actually doing covers on this show.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
So I imagine it's a lot of bounce off is in that 84%.
Yeah, I've definitely. I mean, we've probably said this almost exactly before, but definitely suspected that a lot of our people starting to listen to our episodes and then stopping immediately is like, wait, this isn't a cover of X song,
Yeah.
And wait, why is this cover an hour and a half long?
An hour and a half long. That's crazy. And it's like you said, Spotify is still more music than it is a podcast platform.
Yeah.
Now, Alex, what was the most commonly picked first episode amongst these new listeners, do you think?
Oh, I mean, I feel like the obvious choice is just to stick with Uptown Funk because that was the number one.
It is the wrong choice, but it is an obvious choice. Is Get Lucky, Daft Punk.
Still Get Lucky.
Yeah, 12% of our new listeners started there.
That was such an early episode.
That was like episode 4. I don't like one. It's gonna be a very quiet episode because we were still fucking figuring out how to mix shit.
Like I don't know. Like I feel like we did okay on it, but I don't know if that was our best foot forward.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
in terms
emblematic
of
our
how we are
content.
now.
Or, how we do. But that's where it was. Now, Alex, how many countries do you think we were streamed in this year?
Oh, I feel like this has come up before.
Yes.
And
last year it was 123.
Okay, so it was a lot more. So it wasn't like 6. I think fewer.
Okay.
Because I think more people have other things to worry about in other countries compared to last year. So I'm gonna say 97.
Pretty fucking close, Alex. 88.
Okay, so it was less, eh?
It was less, yeah. I think we have kind of dropped off. I don't know if it's maybe because Spotify basically canceled us in June, and maybe that's damaged our findability, or if it's just simply like we've been around for 5 years. It's too large a catalog for people to give a shit about us, or what.
Yeah.
But yeah, 88 countries this year. Can you guess the top country?
Sweden.
That's you know what? If we did more pop music, like straight pop music, maybe, is the U.S.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Is it usually the U.S.?
It is like always.
I feel like I always live in like, it's too obvious.
Yeah, you're like, it's got to be
something else. And I was like, nah, it's the U.S. again.
It's the U.S. 23% of our total streams go into the U.S. But where are most of our new listeners from, Alex?
Weren't we like doing decent numbers in India for a while there?
We were doing decent numbers in India for a while.
So wait, sorry, what was the question?
Well, so we have the most new listeners in.
Oh, okay. Canada.
No, Canada. Okay. I mean, they're up there on one of our highest listeners, but no, most new listeners are from Taiwan this year.
That's unexpected.
Yeah, that's strange. I don't know what they're looking for there, but
what does that mean? I'm like trying to make sense of this. I'm like, no, it's all random, man. It's all random.
It really is. Spotify's just like, here's some shit that you can't possibly use to like actually refine what you think your podcast.
Cool, awesome. We gotta
now our listeners
speak to the citizens of Taiwan.
Taiwan, yeah. What do they speak in Taiwan? Is it Taiwanese? Is that a language? Am I dumb? Am I fucking idiot? Definitely not Googling that keyboard sound you're hearing there. Not us Googling.
Not Googling. So Taiwan is like officially the Republic of China, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Mandarin is the primary spoken language.
Right. Taiwanese.
Standard Chinese it is referred to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems like it's Chinese and Chinese dialects that are spoken there.
Yeah.
So like there's like 6 variations of Chinese that come up when I look at
They have a sign language. They have their own sign language.
Now, Alex, our podcast listeners don't only listen to us. They listen to several other podcasts, apparently, on Spotify. What do you think their top 3 podcast genres were?
It's got to be more music stuff. What are podcast genres?
I could like list some off for you. But I think we're listed as music and music history.
Okay, I feel like music.
Uh-huh.
Maybe comedy. I don't know.
Yeah,
we're funny sometimes, right?
Sometimes. I like to think.
And I'm going to not say music history again, just because for some reason I feel like that's not it. Lifestyle.
Lifestyle. Yeah, you're pretty close with lifestyle. So their number 3 is news. The news genre.
Okay.
Number 2 is society and culture, which I'll kind of give you lifestyle.
Yeah.
Kind of. And number 1 is comedy.
Hey,
Does that imply that we're comedy, or at least affiliated with it?
I mean, a little bit. I don't know.
Hey, I'll take it as a win.
Yeah.
But what do you think their top music genres were, Alex?
I mean, rock. I'm going to say rock was number 1.
Is number 1? Yeah.
I'm going to say pop is on there.
That's number 2.
And the third one, scorecore. No, I don't know.
Third one is soft rock.
Soft rock. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
It's like I see that, I'm like, yeah, I guess that is what we talk about.
Yeah, that's kind of what we talk about. With an occasional hip hop or song or something like that.
Yeah, occasionally something like a little outside of that. Not very often. Alex, people shared our podcast apparently.
Cool.
They shared it through 5 different means. They did text, they did WhatsApp, they did Instagram, they did direct link, and they did other. What do you think is the main way people share our podcast?
Can you list those again?
I can list it. I'll list them using the list from last year.
Okay.
Last year it was WhatsApp, direct link, text, other, and Instagram.
Yeah, I feel like direct link is going to be up there.
Yes, it's number 1 there, Alex. It is 35% shared through direct link.
Okay.
What do you think's number 2?
I don't know. I feel like Instagram should be high, but it's not for us because it's just our demographic isn't really an Instagram demographic.
Yeah.
And we don't have an Instagram presence.
But 23% came from Instagram. Number 3. That's our number 3?
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we still big on WhatsApp?
You bet.
Oh, damn.
31% through WhatsApp.
Okay.
8% through text and 3% through other.
Through text. Okay.
That's strange. But what do you think was the most shared episode of our episodes, Alex?
I mean, I'm going to say the obvious again. It's got to be Uptown Funk, right?
No.
What?
It's Dancing in the Moonlight by Buffalongo.
Wow. I would not have expected that.
I would not expect that at all.
Did we have a guest for that one?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. That was a fun episode. I liked doing that episode.
Great song.
And yeah, a really good song. But I would not expect that would be the shared one.
We must have said something horrible.
Maybe. Did we?
You got to listen at this.
Was I accidentally anti-Semitic or something again?
Yeah, it could be. It's barely part of your character now. Alex, what's our increase in followers this year? Last year was 96%. What do you think it is this year? And I will say it is an increase. This isn't a trick question.
Okay. I'm going to stick with the other number you said, which is 88.
Hey, that'd be pretty good. 29%.
Okay. Because I feel like last time was like 2%. And you're like, no, 96%. You usually lowball. Like, oh, okay.
You're like, I don't know, 0 number 1 listeners?
Yeah.
Fuck, okay. Alex, how much more minutes of content did we create this year, percentage-wise?
I feel like I figured this out pretty good last year.
Yeah.
I mean, just based on the fact that we have, I don't know my calculator.
Okay, yeah.
Just based on the fact, we have 5. Oh yeah, so it's a little bit shorter, or like we did pretty.
Yeah, because you got to lop off about 10 weeks.
Oh yeah,
because of how it calculates. So I'll tell you this: in 2021, it was 4,487 minutes. In 2022, it was 3,929 minutes. Unfortunately, they're not telling me the minutes, just how much the percentage has increased since 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in 2022, I think I had a decent estimate for the time.
You were pretty fucking close.
I don't remember what I said, though. So what would be the percentage increase? We've been going for about 5 years now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say not a fifth, but maybe... let me think. So that would be... Or wait, am I doing this backwards?
A little mathematics.
I'm trying to think of how this math actually works. So it would be about 1/4. I'm going to say 18%.
Pretty close, Ox. 12%.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I feel like we had a few longer. You know what? That's probably all the Star is Born episode bumping those numbers up.
Yeah. Okay. 12% makes sense.
12%. Okay, now Alex, last year we were the top 10 for 7,523 listeners. Do you think we're more or less than that this year?
I think less.
You're correct. What's the number?
I think it's in the 5,000s.
I wish, dog.
No? We've dropped
1,263 fans in the top 10.
I'm always so negative in previous years. I'm trying to be positive, but then now it's low.
Yeah, now it's super low this year, and
which is fine. Fair enough.
It's fair enough though.
I don't need to be anyone's number 1 podcast.
No, but you do need to be somebody's top 5, of which we were several last year. we were 6,486 peoples. This year, how many are we in the top 5 for?
Okay, just based on the previous number, 872.
You're like so close. 980.
That's okay.
You're doing pretty good with these guesses. And of course, last year we were the top 1 for 3,201 people. This year, how many?
Okay, I got to go by similar. 75 even.
75 even. A little too low, Alex. 444.
Very low. Okay.
So we dropped off quite considerably this year in terms of love on Spotify, but we also hate Spotify this year.
Yeah, and there was you had some speculation last year that maybe there was some double counting going on with some of the stats.
Yeah, they were really gassing stuff, but I think with these ones, people would have to listen at least. Okay. So this one is maybe the most genuine. They might have gassed stuff last year for that somehow, but I'm not sure how they would get these numbers to be altered.
Right. Okay.
But nonetheless, we're less this year. Alex, top fans listen to us how many more times than other listeners? This is like 2
Classic
times, 6 times, 100 times. I'll give you a hint. It's not much.
It's not much.
Less than 2.
It's less than 2. 1.4.
Close. 1.3.
Okay.
That's like not that much.
But I mean, we have top listeners at all, so that's cool.
Yeah. Now here it says 79% joined you for the first time this year. But earlier it said 84% were new listeners.
So 84% of people who listen to the podcast were new listeners.
Uh-huh.
And 79% of our followers? People follow us? Is that how it works?
Maybe it's 79% of our followers followed us this year.
Yeah.
That could be it.
I don't know. I feel like this is all over the place. We're like, there's a lot fewer people listening and stuff, but there's more people following. I don't know. Are we making a better impression to the people who do like us?
Maybe. I'll tell you this. We had a goal last year to get to a 4.0 on Spotify for ratings, and we still sit firmly at 3.9.
Okay. It's close.
We have gotten more reviews, though. We were briefly at like 3.8 or 3.7, so it's fluctuated.
All right.
But hey, maybe this year. Let's get to 5 stars. We're as good as Hideo Kojima's Game Brain. Is he Game Brain? No, he's I think it's just Inside Hideo Kojima.
The Hideo Kojima podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
I don't know what it's called either. I'm looking on Tidal, like that's going to come up. Let me find that Spotify exclusive podcast. That's the Cover Me year according to Spotify. Spotify, what the fuck do they know? I'll tell you this. They know what you listen to this year personally.
They know how to stream a song.
They know how to stream a song. Now, Alex, I've got these in numbered order here. I numbered all my screenshots here. So we open with the number of genres you listen to.
Yeah.
Last year, Alex, you listened to 68 genres.
Okay.
How many did you listen to this year?
61. Dropping off.
Do you think if your listening was all on Spotify instead of having some Tidal on the side, would you have been higher than that?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay.
Because I didn't like the stuff I listened to on Tidal. I mostly either discovered on Spotify or it was just stuff I already knew.
Okay, fair enough.
I wasn't really exploring on Tidal. I was just using it to see, like, hey, maybe this is better music-wise. Or if I would because I do have my a whole bunch of new songs podcast from this year.
Right.
Or not podcast, but playlist.
Right.
And that's all on Spotify. So that's really where the genres come in. And then if there's anything that I like from that, I'll keep that open and then switch to my other app so I can maintain my queues and things like that. I'm very queue focused.
Excellent. I'll get some organization.
I found a music app that lets you have multiple queues in it.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Anyway.
Excellent, Alex. So my stats worth noting are for exactly half a year, 6 months.
So just double them.
So just double them. So last year I had 82 genres. In 6 months this year, I had 67 genres.
Okay. It's like me last year.
Yeah, exactly like you last year. Now, Alex, your top 5 genres. I'm going to guess.
Oh, they're going to be pretty similar to last year.
Okay, so number 5 is punk, number 4 is indie rock, number 3 is pop, number 2 is art pop, and number 1 is rock.
You got the top 2.
Hey, here we go. What were the other 3?
So number 1 was rock, then art pop, then soft rock, which is pretty much our listeners' genres as well.
Yeah.
Except I think there's just pop, not art pop. And then 4 is actually hip hop, which I didn't think I listened to that much hip hop, but hey, there you go. And then pop.
Oh, all right. Alex,
but
rounding it out.
Yeah.
I have some similar ones to you. Do you want to guess my top 5?
I feel like you might have punk on there. And I think rock is going to be high as well.
For sure.
Your hip hop will probably be higher. So I'm going to say that's in 3.
No.
No?
No. So punk I've got at number 4. That one's in there. Rock's number 1. One of the I got an Alex Mildenberger weird genre in here. I got bubble grunge.
Bubble grunge?
Bubble grunge.
What is that?
I honestly should have looked it up earlier. I didn't really pay attention to Spotify. In the mid-1990s, rock credits labeled a type of music bubble grunge because it was a poppier version of grunge. Bush, Third Eye Blind, Matchbox 20.
Did you listen to that new Matchbox 20 album a lot?
Yeah, I had that on repeat, baby. Yeah. No, I don't. I'm going through this list to see if there's any I know. Oh, Pup is apparently listed as bubble grunge.
Oh, that'll do it.
That'd do it.
I listened to a ton of Pup, but anyway.
Yeah. Oh, and Wednesday, which they released an album this year that I listened to. So that my number 5 was bubble grunge. Number 4 was punk. Number 3 was indie game soundtrack.
Oh,
okay, cool. Listen to some. I have like a reading playlist that's instrumentals from indie games, and that's serves me pretty well. Then number 2 is indie rock. Number 1 is a regular, just rock and roll, baby.
Rock and roll, baby.
Alex, what part of the world listened like you though? What's your listen to?
Yeah, it's interesting what they like pick up on. Victoria, Canada, on a map that does not have Vancouver Island.
So it's just like in the ocean.
It's like it shows it as being on the mainland.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
And what was the reasons for it picking that one?
Yeah, the Gord Downie, Tragically Hip, both of them, which apparently I listen to a lot, and Frank Turner.
Okay, and now without specifying which one of those artists, were any of those on your top 5?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Interesting. Okay, I got one that apparently a lot of people got. I didn't hear anybody online getting Victoria, Canada, so you seem very unique to me, Alex. But I got Burlington, USA.
Burlington, yeah, what a strange... I don't know much about Burlington.
They got a coat factory there.
Oh, nice.
The Burlington Coat Factory. But apparently, due to my love of tennis, Andrew Bird and Courtney Barnett.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like their biggest, I think, bullshit one this year in terms of like, well, they have that other one at the end, but that one.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Is also, yeah. But that one, I was like, yeah, what am I supposed to go to Burlington now? Like, what is this really telling me? Also, apparently, everybody's getting like 5 of the same cities. Like, everybody's either Burlington or what other one came up a lot? I like read an article complaining about it.
Spotify Wrapped articles.
Yeah, nothing better than that. It's kind of like talking to people about your dreams, isn't it? It's like, I don't really fucking care about what you got. As we now go on to tell people exactly what we did. Alex, how many songs did you play in 2023?
I played 4,000, sorry, read it backwards. 4,017 songs.
4,017. Last year you did 4,695.
Oh, I'm slacking this year.
Slacking, Alex. How many songs did I listen to in half that time? 3,182.
Oh, nice.
And last year I did 6,514. So yeah, about
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Consistent.
Now next it's given us, I think next is the top 5 songs.
Yeah. I also have a screenshot of just the top song, but
yeah, I've got that too, but I figure we should just move to the...
Yeah, makes sense.
And then you can tell me.
Also, my top 5, the top 3 are good. The 4 and 5 are definitely cover me. So okay. I could also look at my top songs playlist and see if I could find non-cover me songs.
Sure, but also tell me the ones that are on there. What's your number 5?
Number 5 is Heart Full of Soul, the Yardbirds.
Yeah. Good song.
Good song, yeah.
It's a good song. That was another one of our big themes this year, unwittingly, was Ragnarok.
Yeah, Ragnarok. We learned a lot about Ragnarok.
Yeah, we did. It's a great year
completely accidentally.
Yeah. Okay, now replace that number 5 with one off of your top song list.
I just have to find the playlist here.
I'll tell you my number 5, which is Gave Up the Dream by Apollo Ghosts. Apollo Ghosts is a band I saw open for Wet Leg last year.
Okay. Apollo Ghosts. All right, so discounting Cover Me songs.
Mm-hmm.
My number 5 would be Oh Lord by Foxy Shazam.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Is that did they release a new album this year?
They did, but that's not a new
year?
song. That's from like 2011 or something like that.
Okay, sick.
I still go back to their Foxy Shazam album. It's a real hype up album for me. So anytime I was like when I was walking to class and I had my final presentation or my final exam, I was like, I gotta throw this on. Get excited.
Foxy Shazam. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. It's good to have a pump up jam.
Yeah.
Alex, what was your number 4 though?
Number 4 was Come On Eileen, Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Hell yeah.
Which was a Cover Me song, but I feel like I also just listened to that enough on my own that
yeah, because frankly, you wouldn't have to listen to it that many times to know it.
Yeah,
you've heard it enough in your life. But you got what would be your substitution one there?
Waiting by Pup.
By Pup, great track.
They're gonna make another appearance.
Another appearance, excellent, Alex. And they are you went and saw them in the flesh.
I did in September. Saw them at the Palace
right?
Theater.
Nice.
Sorry, I always get the Palace and the Plaza theaters mixed up.
They are different.
Both in Calgary. Not the same thing.
Not the same thing.
Yeah. Really cool show.
I still wish I went.
Yeah.
Maybe next year. Maybe whenever they're out there next. But
maybe they'll go to Vancouver. They've got it,
I would
right?
like that.
They're Canadian.
They're Canadian. Come to Vancouver. Even Americans come here.
Yeah.
Alex, my number 4 was a song you recommended at the end of last year, Be Sweet by Japanese Breakfast.
Oh, yeah. Did I recommend that to you?
You did. You recommended it to the world, Alex.
Oh, man. I don't necessarily remember that. Good song, though. Actually, I do remember us listening to it in Seattle.
Yeah.
Good song.
Good song. Great bass line on there. Boom,
yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Sick. It's good stuff. Alex, you're next. You're number 3.
Number 3. The triumphant return of Pup. Robot Writes a Love Song.
Fuck yeah. That's a great one.
By Pup. It is good. I love how that song, I mean, it kind of reads like there was a sort of era where we got a lot of the like kind of novelty, like nerdy songs.
Yeah.
It sounds like that, but from not a nerd.
Yeah, from someone who's cool.
Yeah. That's what that song reads like to me, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. And they have that one, and then the song that's from the perspective of a guitar on that same album.
Is that a woman's name?
Yes, I believe so.
Matilda,
that's right.
Yeah.
And they're back to back too. So there is like a kind of weird like non-people love song theme going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even the artwork is kind of mechanical. Well, but I say mechanical. No, it's like more.
It reminds me heavily psychedelic.
Yeah, psychedelic. The reason I say mechanical, I had this book growing up that was kind of about like animal anatomy, but it was all done as like mechanical parts, and it's sort of artistically like the style looked a bit like this artwork.
Yeah, looking at the thumbnail, I could see you reaching that conclusion.
But now that I'm actually looking at it, it's not mechanical.
No.
Well, maybe a little bit. There's like some screws and stuff in it, but
yeah, I think Pup might have made my list if I was on Spotify the whole time because I was listening to a lot of Pup this year.
Okay.
But maybe in the later months because I was rallying against the man, Spotify.
Yeah.
My number 3 this year was my number 2 last year. I'll Haunt You by Tennis.
Okay. Making another appearance. Nice.
Making another appearance. I'm going to tell you the list from here on out, just Tennis.
Just Tennis? All right. That's exciting. Well, I have more Pup coming up. So.
All right. What's next on the Pup list?
Next on the Pup list. Song number 2, Totally Fine by Pup.
Nice. Also a good track.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the kind of the beginning of the album. Totally Fine into Robot Writes a Love Song. Yeah, I listened to that a lot. Particularly in the first half of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, in our end of the year episode, we brought up the unraveling of Pup the band as something that we had both like kind of heard about and just listened to maybe a little bit and wanted to listen to more. Because I think the day we recorded, I had first listened to it the day before that.
Oh,
and I was like, I'll check this out again later. And like, if I had heard it early in the year, 100% would have made my top 5.
Oh yeah,
like
easily.
Probably 2 or 3 spot.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal album.
Yeah.
And it's Canadian. That's just like the icing on the cake.
Really awesome.
Huge fan. Really love it. Hell yeah, dude. My number 2 comes off of Tennis's latest album, released this year, 2023, One Night with the Valet.
Yeah. Okay. I like the name of that song. I have listened to it a bit too. I haven't really gotten into Tennis, but a couple times I've listened, and I want to.
Oh yeah, I recommend it.
And I know you really like them, and they have cool sound. So
it's cool. I saw them live this year.
And you saw them, yeah,
in the flesh.
In the flesh? Question mark.
That's it was. They were doing a Pink Floyd tour. It's very strange. Alex, what was your number 1 for this year?
Number 1 for this year at 12 listens. Yeah, just so you know what we're working with here. Blood and Butter by Carolyn Polachek.
Okay, I think you recommended that song to me because I have it on my title list.
Yeah, I mentioned it to you a couple weeks back because there was a 2-week period where I just listened to the song a ton. Apparently, close to 12 times. Yeah. It's a real earworm for me. I really like the melody on that one. I've been listening to a lot of more poppy stuff this year. Obviously, art pop was my number 2 genre, and that I believe is a big part of that. And she put out an album and has that song on it this year.
Yeah, I just put it on because I put it on my save tracks to listen to it, and it's got a very good percussive kind of world music, but pop filtered.
Yeah, it's a cool sound.
That's a cool soundtrack.
Anyway, that's the song.
And when was the first time you listened to that this year? Because it tells you that.
Galentine's Day, February 13th.
Hell yeah, dog.
Yeah.
Excellent. My top song with much more listens than 12, but not that much more because I only had a half a year to really get those numbers up, was Let's Make a Mistake Tonight by Tennis from that same new album, Pollen, with 44 plays starting on January 10th.
January 10th. Yeah, that did come out early on. I remember that.
Yeah, that was a single because the album released
that's right.
in February when I was overseas.
Oh, yeah, because you went to New Zealand.
New Zealand. That's right, Alex. How many minutes of music you got this year?
Less than last year.
Ooh.
I compared. 21,402 minutes.
Alex Mildenberger.
Yeah.
That's more than what? Does it give you a more than X percentage of
14 days. It's 14 days.
14 days, yeah. Oh, and then the next one tells you what percentage of listeners you surpassed.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay, so me, I even with half a year, Alex, I managed to outpace you. 27,603 minutes.
Yeah.
19 days.
I mean, you usually do at least double, but more triple my time.
Yeah, I usually triple it. I think I listened to a lot less music this year. I think I did more podcasts when I was at work this year. So
okay. I guess, yeah, if you listen to music throughout the day at work,
yeah, that's 8 hours, 5 days a week.
I am not doing that.
No.
Some days, but not all day usually.
Yeah, I'm just I like music. I like having it on. I like music.
I was
Welcome to cover me. But yeah, I like having it on. I'm a guy who likes background noise.
Yeah, right on.
Alex, what was your biggest listening day?
Biggest listening day, March 11th. Don't know why.
Yeah,
338 minutes. That feels like a mistake. That feels like I don't know what happened on March 11th. Yeah, I left it playing, and that was an accident. March 11th. It was a Saturday. So it doesn't really make sense because March 11th we would have been recording.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that didn't happen.
Spotify made one up. They're
he's not going to remember what he was doing on March 11th. I'm I don't know. I was doing a podcast.
You're no, I have a few things from that day. They're fuck.
Yeah.
Pretty close in terms of listening time. I was at 396 minutes for my biggest day.
Okay. Another hour.
And that was on February 7th.
February 7th. Yeah, and it says the top 17% of listeners worldwide.
Okay, I was top 13. I'm usually top a lot better. I think top 5%.
But you're also half the year, so.
Yeah, so yes, I gotta cut myself some slack there. Alex, how many artists did you listen to this year?
1,386.
Alex, you beat me in a category. I thought I was gonna cream you in all these even with half a year. I'm 1,222.
I've been pretty deliberate about listening to new music from artists I don't know. So it would only be a few songs, but...
Yeah, you had your album of the year playlist kind of in full swing from the start.
Yeah, because I did the second half of last year, then all of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out didn't make that much of a difference. I really only have like 3 strong candidates and like some other ones.
I do find
like.
your process insane that you pick just all albums of that year.
I don't know, man. I need to just broaden my horizons and
I guess it's
as much as I can.
You tell me about some stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I would have never found that, like doing my own list.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it has broadened your horizons some bit, I think, but
I hope so.
Couldn't be me, dog. I just do 2023. I just like loaded on artists I knew or had heard about in articles online. And I was like, all right.
Right. And I mean, that's probably a good way to do it. That's usually who ends up being the ones that I like, but
yeah.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Now, Alex, this year they gave you your top 5 and the month you listened to them the most in.
Yeah, that was kind of awkward, but yeah.
Kind of awkward. So let's start with number 5 here and work our way up. You'd say the artist, say the peak month. And
okay. Yeah, it's not that different from previous lists.
Okay, hang on. Can I guess it perfectly here? Let me see. Not
all
that
right.
different.
Yeah,
it's not your previous list.
Like most of these artists have shown up in previous lists.
Okay.
Not necessarily in this order, but kind of sometimes.
Sure. So it's going to be, I'm going to say your number 1 is Frank Turner. Your number 2 is David Bowie. Your number 3 is Bruce Springsteen. He might be number 2. Your number 4 is going to be Wolfpack. And number 5 is going to be Boffalongo.
Boffalongo, yeah. Making another appearance. Not bad, actually. You got a couple of them.
Hey, right on.
But all right, so number 5 in October, peak listening month, was The Darkness.
Ooh.
Yeah, I in October went back and listened to like their albums that I have missed just to make sure, just because I was feeling it.
Yeah, and did you find anything good in those albums you missed?
Easter is Cancelled is really solid.
Okay.
Which is the one that we were going to see the tour for before COVID happened and that got messed up.
That's right.
Yeah.
What a world. Okay. Alex, my number 5.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it is a regular. He's a regular on this list. He's always moving around. I think he was number 2 last year. Let me take a look.
Is it Andrew Bird?
That's correct, Alex.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't make it last year, but yeah, Andrew Bird, peak month of May, another person I saw live this year.
Right.
And I think probably around that time, so that's why he's on there. But he also released an album this year, an instrumental album that was
I noticed
outside.
That's cool.
So,
Didn't listen to it much.
Cool guy. Yeah, it's interesting because his instrumental ones always kind of play with some of the same like riffs and licks from his non-instrumental albums, so you kind of hear songs in an altered and new context. It's very interesting.
That is cool.
His work. But yeah, maybe you got to be ahead for that. Alex, number 4. Who do you got?
Previous list. I'm trying to think of the right word for this. Previous listy, yeah. Jethro Tull.
Okay.
Peak listening month, February. I don't remember that specifically.
Yeah, I would have thought like Bruce would have got February.
You would think, but I shockingly didn't listen to that much Springsteen this year. I don't know. I like hit the concert and I was like, yes, that's enough.
Yeah, kind of like he achieved a goal. You're like, well, now I can relax.
Like I can leave him in the past now.
Fair enough.
No, I'm sure he'll come back. He'll be on next year probably.
Yeah, I would bet money that he'll be there next year. Jethro Tull, interesting. I would not have guessed that.
I feel like they've been on my top 5 before, but I'm not sure.
I definitely have. They're always just like one that
they're
they're kind of sneaky.
They're like a regular, but also a wild card.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a sort of wild card one. I think they've been on before. Number 4, Gorillaz. March.
Gorillaz. They did put an album out this year.
They did, and I kind of listened to it on and off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Gorillaz recently has been putting out an album like every year, it feels like. It's almost overwhelming.
They are fairly active.
Yeah. Which is good. I still think that there's a quality music to it, but it makes it so much harder to be like, well, I got to take out some time to digest this Gorillaz album.
Right.
But I liked the one this year, and I liked the singles leading up to it. So hey, it made place here in March. Alex, who's your number 3?
Who's my number 3 in the month of July? Queen.
Oh, Queen's back. I didn't think Queen was going to come back.
Queen's back.
But you were working out a lot.
I was working out a lot, yes, and they are featured prominently on my exercise playlist.
Excellent.
They are, in fact, if you look at the playlist, like the first band I put songs by them.
Yeah, that's a sensible choice.
Yeah.
Which one gets you the most juiced, Alex?
I don't know. Queen song. I just get really excited listening to songs I like. So we did a whole exercise music playlist or episode. Keep the same playlist instead of other things. And Queen's a big one. I like the one that springs to mind is Breakthrough.
Breakthrough
off of The Miracle, but that can't be the number one.
That is unknown to me.
Yeah, there you go.
But hey, Alex, if it gets you swole, as they say, whatever swoles your muscles.
Whatever swoles your muscles.
Now, number 3 for me is maybe why I thought he would be on your list in the same fashion. With February being the most listened month, is of course the boss himself.
The boss himself. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I feel like we were kind of listening on your Spotify when we listened to a bunch of Springsteen, so maybe that was part of it.
So yeah, that kind of beefed those numbers up there.
Yeah.
I was trying to get Greta to listen to him beforehand, so she would have a better idea of who she was paying $500 to listen to. Not that she wasn't a Bruce Springsteen fan, but some of the deeper cuts are obviously not something she's listened to previously. But Alex, who's your number 2 this year?
Number 2. All right, these are the ones you got.
Hell yeah.
Number 2, David Bowie. Peak month, January.
Makes sense. Checks out Bowie Me.
Yep, that's Bowie Me. And also, like, going to see... Well, no, that would have been in the previous year. I was thinking Moon Age Daydream. But
we watched that in September of 2021.
So that wouldn't have even been in January.
No.
Never mind. Yeah, but it makes sense. We do Bowie Me in January. I listened to a lot of David Bowie in January.
David Bowie. Hey, we even talked about David Bowie out of gear this year. We talked about him for our 5th year anniversary. We did 5 years.
That's true. We did 5 years. So, and it's not unlike, it's not uncommon for me to also just listen to David Bowie. Like, there was a day where I went out to the climbing gym, and then there was like a big hailstorm, and it blocked roads off. So I was stranded out there. So I was trying to drive back, but the roads were literally not moving because they were blocked, flooded. And I just threw on a bunch of Bowie albums to be I'm a little stressed out right now.
Right, just take it easy. Listen
to some Bowie. Listen to, some 70s Bowie.
Hell yeah. Great stuff, Alex. My number 2 is the exact same number 2 as last year. Frank Turner.
Peak
listening month of March.
March. Why March? Who could say?
Yeah, who could say? We saw him live in April.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Getting psyched.
So. And I can't remember when Record Store Day was, but I maybe also got some influence from that because I picked up the 10-year anniversary edition of Tape Deck Heart.
Tape Deck Heart.
So
yeah, this all makes sense.
Him. Saw him live. Yeah, it was 4 of my top artists are just people I saw live this year.
Just getting psyched up for concerts. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like doing that. I like making little playlists. Alex, who's your number 1?
Who's my number 1? Well,
who are they?
It is a familiar face. You also guessed this one. In the month of September, Frank Turner.
Yeah, September. Any particular reason for that month? Just Frank Turner.
Nope, don't know. I actually no here. So September's when I started my class. So that was when I started walking to class twice a week, which is about an hour of walking.
Because you're
30 out, 30 back.
Yeah.
So I was listening to a lot of music during that time period, and I think I just had a bunch of Frank Turner on.
Hell yeah.
For that in September.
Okay, and now there is another slide for this one, the first one that tells you your top artist. Top percentage fan and minutes spent, Alex. What do you got?
Top 2%, 772 minutes.
It's not bad, Alex. It's not bad numbers. My number 1, same as last year, Tennis. Peak listening month was April. That was the month I saw them live. Surprise, surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Top 0.05%. And 3,653 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like in the past, when I was David Bowie, it was 0.01, kind of thing.
Yeah, you were the top.
Yeah.
The only guy.
But yeah, I guess I don't know. It's just he was my top artist, but he was still a lot less. Maybe I was just listening to a lot more stuff.
Maybe.
Different
it seems like you had maybe a broader
it was spread out
scope.
Yeah.
So just more. Yeah.
And it also has what your top song from that artist is.
Well, yeah,
right?
mine was also my
Your
top
number one.
song in general.
Okay.
So.
Mine was apparently Perfect Score by Frank Turner.
Perfect Score. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember that coming up a lot in my workout playlist. Just randomly. So I think that's a big part of that.
Yeah, fair enough. You're not going to really change.
That's the other thing. He's prominently featured on my workout playlist. So
okay, yeah. Got to get some more Bruce Springsteen on there.
Yeah, apparently.
Start popping iron to Candy's Boy.
Candy's Boy. Or whatever.
Or Atlantic City, I guess. The only two songs appropriate for exercising.
For exercising.
Now, Alex, they got this random bullshit category at the end here. Your favorite, what you are, how your
they give you a little category with
profile.
a little JPEG
card. What are you, Alex?
Alchemist.
Hey, me too.
Oh, nice. Because it's you create your own playlist more than other listeners do, and we do create a lot of playlists.
Yeah, that's definitely like a Cover Me influenced one.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh. That's our Spotify Wraps, though. What did you think of it this year compared to other years, Alex?
It was kind of weird this year. Maybe partially because it is split between this and Tidal, even though I don't necessarily use Tidal that much.
Right.
But I don't know. My numbers didn't seem like what I expected them to be. But maybe they were just getting pumped up by listening to a ton of stuff for Cover Me, and half the year I wasn't. So now, how many hours of listening is now gone?
Right.
Because of 25 weeks of listening on Tidal instead of Spotify. Or whatever.
So it's theoretically your most accurate year yet, and then but it feels.
But now it feels so anemic because of it.
Yeah. It's looking at it this year, I was definitely it kind of meant nothing to me more than any other year. So I'm I don't really use this anymore. And I like that Tidal just keeps a running track of it gives you your monthly tops. And I've noticed now it has not only a most listened to playlist, but a most listened to of that year and also of that month. So you have a long running one. There's one called My Most Listened that will just cover your time on Tidal. You've got one called My Most Listened 2023, and then I also have My Most Listened for November 2023, My Most Listened for October 2023.
Is that under custom mixes for me? No, that's
on mine it says Your History is the tab.
Your History. My Most Listened 2023. Number 1, Atlantic City.
Hell yeah.
Number 2, The Wait. Yeah, this is all Cover Me. Sunflower. Nothing compares to you. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I forgot we did The Wait. We did some fucking banger.
We did some shit this year, man.
We did
Cheeseburger in Paradise.
I think our least popular episode. Yes, Cheeseburger in Paradise.
I can't believe that's our least popular episode.
I had so much fun with that one.
That was way more fun than I was expecting. And I don't even like the song that much.
It's like a fucking middling song at best, but I still really enjoyed it. But before we get to talking about our episodes this year and maybe categorizing them like we always do, let's talk about our top 5 albums of the year.
Top 5 albums, yeah.
So we've talked a bit about your method. You put on every fucking release ever made in that year.
No, honestly, I do, but I also look stuff up for recommendations. For stuff to kind of focus on, because it's fucking so hard, man. I have a whole list here of albums that I listened to maybe once or twice and was this is pretty cool. I wish I should listen to it more, and just didn't.
Yeah.
So it's just so much. And my numbers I don't listen enough to cover all that.
Right. Yeah, it's exhausting. Even doing my version where it's just things I should be interested in. I was oh fuck, I don't have time for this or this or this. And some of the things it brings up in the shuffle, I'm you're always giving me this Post Malone album I put on as kind of I kind of like Post Malone sometimes.
Yeah, I guess I'll put it on. It did come out this year after all.
Mm-hmm. But let's break it down here, Alex. Do you have a solid top 5?
I have a solid top 3, and the other ones I also liked, but more generally. So I guess the way I describe it is top 3 are albums that I like overall, and also there are several tracks off it that I would say stand out that I would go back to and know the names of and can sing along to or whatever. And then the next 2 are albums that I kind of just listened to as albums, the whole thing, and was yes, cool sound, but like never really dug into them that much. But I would still consider them top because I quite enjoyed listening to them.
Right, you quite enjoy. Okay, yeah, mine's kind of the same way. It's similar because I feel like maybe my number 5 I didn't quite dig into enough, but a track from it came up the other day, and I was like, yeah, I do actually like remember a lot of this album from my listens to it, and I think it's pretty good. But Alex, what's your number 5?
Number 5 album of the year from Alex is Scaring the Hose, JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown.
Okay, I did not hear about this one.
Yeah,
tell me more.
It's I mean, again, like I said, going more, it's more of like a vibe thing, but cool hip hop album. You know, lots of cool sounds on it, lots of cool samples.
Okay,
and it's kind of fun in like some bizarre ways.
Yeah, the name JPEG Mafia is familiar to me. I don't know if I actually know
there's like
any of his work.
I don't really, but there's a sample in one of the later songs where it's from like an instructional video on how to like convert like sewing patterns or something like on it's like an old like VHS thing. So I found it on Who Sampled actually because I was curious. And then she's like drawn a bird and the sample they chop it up so like this one's name is like JPEG or like whatever. Where she's just like showing you how to like save a JPEG and like it's like a bird and she's like, I've named it. Or it's like his name is whatever. But it's like she's like, I've named this bird like John or whatever, like, you know. Then they just it's funny. So it's like his name is JPEG. Like there's a song on it called Kingdom Hearts Key. That's fun. Okay. There's a song that seems to be a Run the Jewels pastiche a bit. It's called Run the Jewels. So there's a lot of very explicit stuff like that.
Seems like it could be.
Yeah, I know. I think there might be a connection. It's worth a listen.
I've just chucked it into my albums, my saved albums on Tidal. I'll be looking at that.
And the artwork's really cool.
Yeah, I like that. We got like a cross. One of the guys is wearing a kind of priesty but like cool priest suit. Yeah, he's got a gun and a Bible. Yeah.
So yeah,
that looks sick. Right on. Solid number 5 pick. My number 5 pick also from the world of hip hop. Open Mike Eagles, another triumph of ghetto engineering.
Oh, I saw that one, and I think I even like favorited a song off of it.
I really like the production on it. Like a lot of the beats and things it's a very good sound. Okay. The rapping style is a little more like he's almost becoming more how I want to call it art rap or something where he's almost just like earnestly telling you stories and stuff, but with a good like rhythm to his pattern.
He's got like the flow.
Yeah. And he's got a couple other guys who feature on it, so it's not always him rapping. It's a very interesting album. I was listening to a new rap festival called Falling Loud yesterday where he talks about mixing his ashes into some coffee grounds. Which is funny and bizarre.
It almost sounds like more of like a toast or something like that. Like
a bit.
Did you watch? Oh no. Back in like March or so, I watched Dolomite.
Oh, okay,
there's like toasts in that, and they're just like it's like so weird because everyone's like seems to be having a good time, but watching them from my perspective is like, why are they enjoying the story? But like there's an appeal there anyway.
Yeah, so it's a bit of that. It's very interesting. I haven't maybe listened to it like in depth as much as I should, but I did enjoy it, and so it's my number 5. Alex, what's going on at number 4 for you?
Number 4, the album is Heavy Heavy by Young Fathers.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I feel like I've heard the name.
Yeah, they're a group out of I think Glasgow or something like that. Like they're Scottish.
Right.
And this is a very interesting sounding album that definitely evokes like I guess I'm trying to be it's like electronic but has some like world music evocations, I guess I would say.
Okay.
With some interesting sounds on it. This one is the probably most like vibey of them all because it's like got this really big sound and there's almost parts of it that remind me of the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze soundtrack.
Okay. That's high praise.
In a certain way. That is high praise. I don't know if it's quite compositionally accurate on that level or it's not quite the same thing. But this one is like, yeah, like listen to it and just like let the sound wash over you, and like there's a lot of sounds, and it's cool.
Fuck yeah. It's again another cool looking piece of album artwork. It's like a silhouette man who looks very spooky.
He's like spiky and spooky.
Spiky and spooky.
Regular mouth.
Yeah, a regular mouth. And maybe I'm like looking at, I think maybe a spiky hog.
I mean, it's in shadow, but those spikes have to be coming from somewhere.
They're coming from somewhere, man. Sick. Yeah, I'm going to have to check this out as well. My number 4, talked about him briefly already. It's Cracker Island by Gorillaz.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a solid album. There's some good. I like Silent Running off it. I think is probably my favorite, which is one of the singles.
Running,
and they have an acoustic version of it too on the deluxe version, which I really like. Cracker Island featuring Thundercat. The title track's pretty good too. Like there's a lot of just like pretty good ones. You get a Stevie Nicks feature that's all right. Just a few songs I really enjoy on here. But again, I feel like I didn't tuck into it as much as I could have. But of the albums I heard this year, I feel like it was one that was solidly put together.
Yeah, I didn't go back to that one much, but I did listen to some of the singles because they kind of came out last year, like late last year or mid to late last year. So yeah, Cracker Island and I think New Gold. Were singles.
That's right.
Cool. Yeah, that was cool. That's one on my list of albums I wish I listened to more.
Well, you always can.
I know I still can, right?
There's always a chance, Alex. There's still time.
There's always a chance.
But there's a chance for you to tell us about your number 3 album this year, Alex. What is it?
All right, number 3 album of the year. This one has been alluded to briefly before, but the album is Desire, I Want to Turn Into You by Carolyn Polachek.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, the album that the other song I was talking about, Blood and Butter.
Blood and Butter.
Lots of good stuff on here. Cool sound for similar reasons to why I like Blood and Butter. But like how it comes in. Also, other songs like Sunset, like that one. That's pretty cool. I think that was also a single. But yeah, good one to check out. Very more like on the art pop side of things, but worth a check.
Yeah, and so this, I should have been asking you this about every artist so far, but these are ones you just found through your playlist making, or did you know about these guys before, or what?
These ones were all through the playlist, yeah, and then something would maybe stand out about them, and I would usually look into them a little more.
Okay.
But this Carolyn Polachek's interesting because she's been at this for a while. She was like part of some like indie electronic type groups, or at least one, and like has a bit of a following from that. And she has some earlier solo stuff that's kind of also has, a following and is more poppy like this is. So there's a fair amount of material if you want to check her out.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
Excellent. Yeah, I've put her album on. I'm gonna go through some of these when I get the chance. Right on though. Clearly a good track record for your playlist method here. If you got, I mean, it turns up some cool stuff. Yeah. Even things that didn't end up in the top 5, but are still pretty cool. That's fair. Well, my playlist from this point, at least for the next 2, takes a turn for a bit of the humorous. We got some. At least one is a bona fide comedy act. The next one is maybe just a funny band. Okay. But this one here, comedy act, the Sloppy Boys with their album Sonic Ranch.
The Sloppy Boys.
Yes.
I don't know this at all.
So the Sloppy Boys are a band. Do you? Do you know the Sloppy Boys?
No, I think I listened to this. I did listen to this Sonic Ranch. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, good time.
They're great.
It was like months ago, but yeah, no, I totally did listen to this and like forgot about it entirely.
Hey, yeah. So they're a band. They're a podcast. They're former. They're comedians too. They had an improv show that was not an improv show, a sketch show that was produced, I think, and sometimes featured Bob Odenkirk. So they're like, they've been around in the business in a few ways.
Some comedy connections.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very funny guys. And good sounds on this too. You got songs like I think my favorite is maybe Yuppie Man, which is just like a 2-minute punk track about being a yuppie. Yeah. And only wanting to talk about money.
King Bitch. Yeah. No, I remember listening to this. I mean, like, this is a solid, like, kind of novelty. Novelty in that it's like comedy, and I would fit that under novelty, like novelty act.
Yeah, they got a solid grasp of the sounds they're making fun of or like adopting, and a great Good to Be Cool parody of Huey Lewis's Hip to Be Square.
Good to Be Cool.
That's just fucking perfect, man. I really enjoyed this album.
Yeah, that's yeah. I should definitely throw that on again because
give it another go. I think and like all pretty short tracks. It's a good run.
The Sloppy Boys.
And Sloppy Boys. Yeah, funny name, great name. Alex, who do you got in at number 2?
Number two is Giant Elk by Me Rex.
Giant Elk by Me Rex.
Giant Elk by Me Rex.
These are some great words.
I know, right? This is not a group that I found out from my playlist construction. Mm-hmm. This is a group that I learned about because they do the intro song to the podcast Quick Question with Soren and Daniel. Soren Dewey and Daniel O'Brien's podcast.
I gotta listen to that podcast.
Yeah, it's mostly just them hanging out and talking about random stuff. But they have this intro done by this band, Me Rex, so I thought, I'll check them out. And they had an album coming out, so I checked out some of the singles. And really good stuff on this album. Big fan of Ethereans. It's a good one. Jawbone. Excellent. And some other ones that I forget the name of.
Yeah, there's a lot of good songs on this Jawbone, Spiders, Pythons, Strangleweed.
Like if this album hadn't come out in October, if it come out earlier, it would 100% would have been in like some of my top 5 most listened tracks. Like 3 songs off of this were in my top. Like if I go to my top playlist, like the top 20 or so probably had several, and they would have only been listened to more.
Oh yeah, these guys sound like the kind of music I want to listen to.
Yeah, I know. Like you put it on, you're like, okay. They're like British, a lot of words, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna say like Skiffle Descended, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Just because if it's a British band that sings fast, I'm like Skiffle. Yeah.
You're like, this is Skiffle.
Anything that like kind of reminds me of early Arctic Monkeys, I'm like, yeah, Skiffle.
Yeah, they got a bit of that Arctic Monkeys vibe. A bit of like just like good synth noises is what I'm noticing on the bits I'm playing.
And like they're not afraid to like strain to the top. The singer's not afraid to like strain at the top of his range, which is like pretty rock and roll.
Yeah, I think that's what I shifted to on Jawbone was the part where he's doing that. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I like to hear.
Yeah, good. Solid album, a lot of good tracks.
Fuck yeah, solid. My number 2 I think is also solid. And in some ways embodies the Sloppy Boys Sonic Ranch thing of like highlighting a bunch of different like musical genres, but it focuses on like lowbrow, like dumb trends in music, I think.
Okay.
This is 100 gecs with their album 10,000 gecs.
I considered this one actually. It's on my albums I wish I listened to more, because I was listening to it and I was like, yeah, Cheetos and Fritos.
Yeah, Doritos and Fritos.
Doritos and Fritos, yeah.
I think that might be the best track.
Yeah, it is a real interesting listen. They're like hyper pop, right? But they're very
basically
like kind of punk about it, and like very not what's the word I'm looking for? Irreverent, maybe? Like,
yes, I think that is the word, because it's done with love. But so it's not quite parody, but they are like doing the most like hyper version of that, whether it's pop, whether it's ska, because they have a couple of ska tracks. They do big dumb bass stuff. They have a new metal track.
Yeah.
It is like a celebration of the dumbest of music.
And yeah, there's definitely like this conscious like discarding of like taste.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fun. And there's another album I heard described that way. It's not as extreme as this.
Right.
But The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, I believe is the name. It's definitely a Rise and Fall by the name is, I'm blanking on the name, Chappell Roan.
Chappell Roan.
Has like some of that energy as well.
Okay, and that's a release from this year too.
But it's not like, it's a very different sound. That's also another one from this year, yeah. And that's one I heard of from the list, and was drawn to because it had the Rise and Fall of title.
Naturally, yeah,
that's something basic, apparently.
Something.
I'm just really into like Austrian operas. I don't know, man.
I guess, man. Yeah, if that's what you're into. That's what you're into. But Yeah, this Big Dumb album rips hard.
Awesome. I did not expect you to put 10,000 Gex on this list. But right
I had it and Doritos and Fritos played. I was like, okay, yeah, this is fun. It's big. Frog on the Floor is what brought me in and sold me. It's the dumbest. It almost sounds like a children's song. It's legit about just finding a frog on the floor.
Yeah, I'm definitely listening to this one again because I've been meaning to for a while.
Yeah, it rips. It's so good. Alex, what's your number one album for 2023?
Number one album of 2023 for Alex Mildenberger is The Record by Boy Genius.
I think I knew this was coming.
Yeah, I have referenced it before.
Yes.
It's not something the sound isn't necessarily one that I gravitate towards. Much, so it shocked me a little bit. But I listened to the singles before it came out, and Emily, I'm Sorry really drew me in with the melody on the chorus, and then once the album came out, the intro is Without You, Without Them, which is all a cappella, and it's the three. I should say, Boy Genius is kind of a super group because it's Julian Baker, Phoebe Bridgers, and Lucy Dacus. So three established artists that are kind of in the indie rock sort of scene.
Mm-hmm.
And they put out an EP a couple years back, and this is The Record, right?
Okay.
And so it's the three of them singing, and I love their harmonies. I believe this is. I'm trying to remember. I referenced this in a previous recording today, where I said this song is basically just this other song, and I'm pretty sure it was a song off of this, but I can't remember which song.
Oh my god!
And I can't remember the other song. Do you remember when I said that?
I do not.
It's an hour ago. 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, not a big deal. A lot of good stuff on here. True Blue, Cool About It, Not Strong Enough, Anti-Curse, Emily, I'm Sorry, $20 Without You, Without Them. Great tracks.
Yeah, it's a solid album. It's definitely one I listened to and enjoyed. I think maybe I just fell off because it was a lot of not a style of folk music that I'm particularly in on.
Because it is a lot of that softer stuff, which I don't normally go for, but this one just clicked for me.
Yeah, I think it's a solid album. Naturally, a lot of people have talked about it this year. It's a big thing. I even heard about it.
Yeah, it was pretty big this year, right? It's kind of the indie darling, I'll say. I don't know if it counts as indie or not, but
the indie supergroup darling, yeah.
Yeah, supergroup darling.
The super indie group darling.
Yeah, but real.
But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna pick an album that is emblematic of 2023 and is also solid, this is probably the real album of the year pick. I imagine you'll see this on quite a few lists.
Yeah, I suspect so. They also put out a short 4-song EP afterwards called The Rest, which has got some good stuff on it.
Okay, The Record, The Rest, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And check them out. Boy Genius, but you probably didn't need me to tell you that.
And if you did, hey,
still check it out. It's good stuff.
Yeah, check it out. For me, it should be no surprise. Number one, Pollen by Tennis.
Pollen by Tennis. I mean, I knew just because it wasn't on the list already.
Yeah, it's I'd say it's a great album. I think I've listened to it too much this year. But I've got it on vinyl. I enjoy it from front to back. It's very good sounds. It's some great lyrics. I like the lyrics. I would sat down one day and just held the lyric sheet in front of me and listened to things. I was like, what's up with this one song? Or I thought she mentioned a place, but then it just turned out to be a very sad line. And I was like, oh,
okay.
But yeah, dog, not much else I could say about that. I'm a Tennis fan. I saw it live. It's great. Good tracks on there. Give it a listen if you haven't already.
Excellent.
Check out all these albums, people. They're great albums. They're just waiting for you to listen to them. That's our top 5. We got to do our wrap up here because this is maybe our longest year-end episode yet somehow.
Yeah, somehow. We got excited talking about the business of Spotify, I guess.
Yeah, we had to call that out. Now, Alex, we wrap up every year by talking about the podcast itself, the worst, best, and weirdest episodes of the year.
Yeah,
I know it's tough. I found this to be a tough year for worst episode.
There weren't any that stood out to me as not very good.
Yeah.
At least in terms of the recording process.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, I mean, I don't know. I guess let's go through this because I
go through this.
Need to think about it a little bit.
Okay, so I've kind of got a few worst ones that I could suggest here. I haven't really landed on one yet, but there's A Star Is Born because it was fucking like
long.
So long, and it's just us biting off more than we can chew, basically.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of us just kind of trying to push ourselves along and not knowing how to really handle this different format, talking about movie remakes instead of covers.
Yeah.
So that's one. We've got the licensed soundtrack episode, which I think is maybe just kind of us trying to get some more content out there. I'll admit it. Sometimes we just got to fill some time, so we have an episode that releases on a week, and maybe licensed soundtrack is an example of that.
Fair enough.
And then we didn't start the fire, partially because a lot of it is just us
listing things,
much like the song itself. But two, because we stopped recording and then talked about the song for like another half hour afterwards. So like we maybe missed out on some of the best content there.
Huh. I forgot about that. But yeah. Man. Worst episode. Yeah, I'm looking at all the things we did, and I mean, these were all good to record, you know? Mm-hmm. Except maybe, yeah, there were some rough ones. I think it's probably the licensed sound. I like talking about licensed soundtrack stuff. When did we do the exercise one?
That was last year.
Okay.
I think. Or was that this? No, it was last year.
Because, yeah, I don't know. There weren't any that really stood out as being like bad. No, here's what I'm gonna say. Not because of the episode, but because of me. Worst was Don't Dream It's Over. Just because I think I was just in a bad mood. And you were like, do you hate this song? I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah, you were just like, yeah, it's okay. It's whatever.
So that's what's going to get worse, but it's my own fault entirely.
Sure, that's maybe the worst Alex Mildenberger performance. I'll allow that.
And then you and Greta picked up the slack.
Hey, yeah. It was good we had a guest that week, I guess. I'm going to give it to A Star Is Born. I think it was long. It was a little sloppy on our parts. Not our best work, but Alex.
Yeah, we could have planned out the format of that one a little better.
Yeah. But hey, man, sometimes we got to just do stuff.
Yeah, live and learn.
What's the best episode, though, Alex? What is it?
The best episode of the entire year would be... I thought I had one, but I can't find it now. Do you have a best episode of the year?
I have, again, I've got some...
Oh, I remember what it is.
What do you got?
Okay. It's kind of a double bill.
Okay,
because we recorded them both. The one, and it's partially recency bias. We talked about Psycho Killer, and we talked about Stop Making Sense. And I had so much fun going to see and talking about Stop Making Sense.
Absolutely. That was a ton of fun.
Yeah, that was such a great, like, that day of just talking about Talking Heads for like hours. Was so much fun. So that's probably what I'm going to say for my best episode. Best episodes.
Yeah, and I think that the Stop Making Sense stands in contrast to the A Star Is Born episode, where we kind of nailed down talking about a movie. Of course, one that is a movie of a concert.
Well, one we talked about a movie, one we talked about four movies.
Yeah, you're right. It was we narrowed the scope.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's a good choice. I think for me, just in terms of like impact of the show, you know, we want people to find out something new on the show. And I think we all learned something new on Baba O'Riley with The Who.
That one was also a lot of fun. I really liked
lot of
that
fun
episode as well.
And I still think about how I farm for my meals.
Farm for my meals. Yep.
That's like, it still rattles me.
Yeah, that was a hell of an episode, actually.
Yeah. It's like,
and just talking about like Lifehouse and The Who as like a creative thing.
Yeah, just seeing how The Who was like meant to be a rock opera machine and then like kind of didn't work out
just
that
like
way.
Fell apart.
Yeah.
They did like 2 and then that was it.
That was it. And one was like, But they did their one that was a song and then they did Tommy. And they're interesting. It's an interesting bit of creative history. But some shout outs for best episodes. Cheeseburger in Paradise was a blast, folks. Go check it out.
It was way more fun than it had any right being.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Blood, recent episode.
Bad Blood, fantastic.
Emily McKenzie.
That's right.
Had a really good time recording that one.
That's hot off the presses 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that is. Even like we did A Kind of Magic with John.
With John Bell. Yeah, shout out to John Bell.
I mean, anything with a guest, which is not necessarily obvious. But yeah, we had a lot of fun this year, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Dancing on My Own was a fun episode too.
Great episode with Ruby Swan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Awesome.
I Don't Want to Miss
Don't
a
Want to
Thing.
Miss a Thing. We got to do that in person.
Yeah, in person with Will Gill.
Will Gill. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, great.
When we accidentally did a bunch of movie songs, and then we did a bunch of movie songs.
And then we did a bunch of movie songs.
That was fun.
Yeah, we had 6 months of themed content this year, Alex. Half of the year.
Yeah.
Something to think about,
folks. We're professionals.
That's right. This is how it's done in the biz. And that's what we call it in the biz.
Okay.
It's the biz.
So yeah, we're in the biz.
We're in the biz.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Don't ask any more questions. Alex, the weirdest episode.
The weirdest episode. For weirdest episode, I am going to say A Star Is Born.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just because it was like so much prep went into that. Like we spent like a month watching 4 movies and we had to like track them down a bit. Like they're not that hard to find, but it was like, oh, I have to get this one out of the library.
Out of the library. Yeah, it was work.
This one I had to rent on YouTube or whatever. And yeah, just like it was quite a path to walk, like quite a trail we walked down.
Yeah.
For that. And like I basically for that whole time was just like at work also talking to people about it. I like come in on Monday and be like, guess what I watched on the weekend? A Star Is Born again.
A Star Is Born.
So that was fun. And like also the fact that the episode is like as much as I enjoyed it, like a bit much.
A bit much for sure.
It's like, okay, it was an experiment with a lot that went into it and it maybe didn't pay off, but like I'm still kind of glad we did it.
Yeah, and ultimately for a movie that people don't really care about that much.
Yeah. 4 movies that people don't necessarily care about that much.
Yeah, that Hollywood cares about whenever they need another movie to make. Like, we'll remake A Star Is Born.
Yeah, so that's my weirdest episode.
I think that's a fair pick. I think for me, it's a tie between Barbie Girl and Rollin'. The 2
ones that I were not present for.
That you were not present for. It was, and not to say anything bad of those episodes. Both were great episodes. I enjoyed recording them, but just not having Alex Mildenberger in the studio. It was strange. It was like missing a limb, bro.
Yeah, I mean, for us who are kind of doing this like broadcaster thing, but without really any experience, like beyond this, to have to now work with other people who don't have our very specific experience we have developed together. Now it's just like such a different dynamic. I imagine it'd be very strange.
Yeah, we are like a hyper specialized instrument, and then bringing in somebody new and removing the other half of that instrument changes the dynamic intensely.
Yeah,
but still great episodes. Fun to record them. It was weird though. It was interesting. It's a good year for Cover Me.
Yeah, did some wacky
Alex,
stuff.
We did some wacky shit. Anything else to say about Cover Me, the year 2023, or what the future holds, Alex?
Don't know what the future holds. It's probably some more Cover Me.
Yeah, at least 2 episodes of Cover Me, I would guess.
Yeah, that's what we've got in the pipeline.
That's right, baby.
All right.
Well, that does it for today's episode of Cover Me, then. Be sure to rate and review us. We're on we're on the apps, buddy. We're on the apps.
Check us out on apps.
That's the big part of 2023 is my whole fucking end spiel has been uprooted by like 10 different podcasting services shutting down. And I still haven't landed on my rhythm for who to go through. It's got to be Apple. Apple Podcast should be the first one.
Something, yeah.
They coined podcast.
Yeah. You'd think, right?
You'd think, yeah. Like
they made the pod. We just brought the cast.
We brought the cast. On what a cast it is, a cast of characters. So look for us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Podcasts, and Spotify. That's the fucking 4. If you're using a different podcasting app than those ones, we're probably there too. Tell your friends to use whatever fucking random shit they've got. Be sure to rate and review us. We are, we're out there. You can email us at CoverMePod. Tell us your CoverMePod@gmail.com. Let me finish that thought. You can email us at CoverMePod@gmail.com. You can talk to us on the app formerly known as Twitter. Tell us about your top 5s, your top 5 albums, top 5 songs, your Spotify Wrapped. What fucking character are you or whatever? Tell us about your best and weirdest episodes of Cover Me. Maybe leave out the worst. You can tell us the worst if you want. I don't care. Give us 5 stars on Spotify.
Criticism.
Yeah, give us a little criticism. We're tough.
We won't cry openly.
Yeah, we'll hold back the tears like a couple of tough guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what you can really do to promote us this week is tell everybody else your top Cover Me moments of the year. To really bring it up at your New Year's Eve parties and everything. And
share it with a direct link.
Share it with a direct link, which we know you guys are fucking crazy about. You love to directly link to us, and we love that you love that. Hashtag marketing. And that does it for today's episode of Cover Me. And as we always say on Cover Me's bad. It's bad. You know it. Shum on.